When we were writing English Result, we wanted to produce a course that was motivating, that would both maintain students' motivation and generate more motivation as they continued throughout the course. So we decided to make sure that it was practical, balanced, focused and achievable. And with these 4 qualities in place, we feel that a student following English Result can both see how the course relates to their everyday language needs and also how they're progressing as they have regular experiences of success.
The course is practical because it presents the language as an ability, as a practical skill rather than just an abstract body of knowledge, something that the students can actually use in real life.
The English Result course is balanced as we give equal weighting to each of the 5 skills. We've divided the speaking skill into spoken interaction and spoken production, so students develop in both of those areas as they progress throughout the course. We've also added a socio-cultural strand to the syllabus, and this gives students the opportunity to think about and reflect on how language is used differently in different cultures.
We've made the course very focused, so it's very clear to students and teachers exactly where the lesson is going. So we have it arranged like this. At the beginning of the lesson you have how to, in this case, how to talk about cultural differences. That's an objective. And at the end of the lesson, I can talk about cultural differences. That's what they've achieved through the lesson. So the focus is very clear.
English Result is achievable in the sense that the lessons have been designed to always present students with the optimum level of challenge. We're aiming to get them to push their competence forward. So sometimes, for example, they'll have challenging material, but when the material is challenging, we're giving them support by way of strategies. At other times, it might not be so difficult, and yet perhaps what they're required to do with it is slightly more taxing. So it's this optimum balance that we've tried to maintain throughout the course. But of course, achievability is also something that the students have to sense. And as Mark mentioned before, our can-do bar at the end of a lesson is a device we've included to draw students into the learning experience, to give them the opportunity to reflect and to weigh up the progress that they've made.
A unit in English Result Upper Intermediate has 6 lessons. The first 4 are the standard lessons, A to D, and they consist of the usual double-page spread. And then the 5th lesson is a skills spread. They're the receptive skills, reading and listening, going in alternate units. And then finally there's a writing skills lesson. And then there's an optional review at the end of each unit.
One new feature at upper intermediate level that we have is the skills lessons, which alternate between listening and reading. There's one in each unit. In this particular lesson here, the listening lesson, students will be guided through a recording taken from the BBC radio programme Excess Baggage. And at the beginning of the lesson, they're given the information that a native listener would have. So they're told a little bit about the programme, and they're encouraged to take a look at the pictures to activate any background knowledge they have before they actually listen to the text. Then, when they start listening to the text, we give them an opportunity to tune in. They listen to a very short introductory section from the programme and really just tune into the speaker's voice. Having done that, we then ask them to look more carefully at, in this particular lesson, it's reference words, pronouns in sentences. So they're listening to understand meaning expressed by a speaker across sentences. And we take them through the stages that they need really to go through in order to be able to do that. So it's awareness raising and helping them develop generative strategies. listening strategies that they can use when they listen to any authentic text in the future. Finally, at the end of the lesson, we give students a list of tips, advice that they can follow, and they take these away with them, and this helps them become more independent and proficient listeners.
Another new feature at this level is something we call Grammar Plus, which is material halfway between grammar and vocabulary, pattern sentences. For example, in 5D we have the pattern, "It's widely thought that silence is awkward," or "It's commonly believed." So this is a passive structure with an empty "it" subject at the beginning. And these kind of patterns are often neglected in courses because they're not really grammar and they're not really vocabulary. So this is intended to fill that gap.
We're going to watch some clips from 2 lessons in which students are given the opportunity to talk about cultural differences. They're following lesson 5D in upper intermediate. The 2 teachers are Brian and Sophie. And the first clip we see shows Brian setting up mini role plays to check that students have understood the concepts that have been introduced in the vocabulary panel at the beginning of the lesson. In the second clip, Sophie gives the students the opportunity to personalise, to talk about when they perform these conversational acts.